Hi everyone, it's Cassie, the Young Teen Librarian at East Hampton Library. Today for our virtual make and take craft, I'm going to show you how to make an oil and food coloring marble art. So for that, what you're going to need, I'm going to bring my tray of stuff in. You will need water, so I have a cup of water here. You will need the water. You will need oil. Now you could have either baby oil or vegetable oil. I didn't have vegetable oil on hand, and the article that I found this with, they tried it with vegetable oil, but they said baby oil should work as well. So I had baby oil on hand. So you have your baby oil, and then it's the article that I had found, they used food coloring, but they also mentioned that you could use liquid watercolors. Now I did not have food coloring on hand, so I decided to use the liquid watercolor that we had on hand here at the library. And I have 3 different colors. So I have purple, green, and blue. So we're going to set these aside because what you are going to do, if you see these little containers I have, you can probably tell that there's some type of color in there. So what you do is you pour baby oil, or you pour the oil into the container, and then you pour the food coloring or liquid watercolor paint into there, and you kind of mix it up. So to mix it up, I have a fork. So I had a fork, so just kind of stir it up. I'm going to set aside the fork from each because I shouldn't need those again. So we have our green, I think, and then these two are because they're blue and purple, they're kind of close in color, but I think I can tell that's the purple. So we have the purple, the green, and the blue. So we are going to set them to the side here because we don't want them to be blocking the screen. And then our last but not least, watercolor paper. So I took a normal size piece of watercolor paper and put it in half so that it would fit into my pan. Because we are going to use this tray to make the oil and food coloring marble art. Now, for that, what you're going to do is you're going to take your water and you're going to pour your water into your pan. They say like a pie pan or a baking dish, but this happened to be what we had on hand here at the library. So it's kind of like making do with what you have available. Most people are going to have food coloring on hand, not necessarily liquid watercolor paint. So either one should work fine. So for your art, all you have to do, so let me just give this a mix because I'm mixing the liquid watercolor paint into the oil because, as we know, watercolor paint is water. So we are going to then drizzle. Ooh, that looks so cool. We're going to go like that. That is really cool. So this one I think is the blue, so let's give that a quick stir. We'll go like that. We'll do another. There we go. It's like little splashes of color. It's so cool. And then we're going to drizzle in our purple. There we go. That's our last little bit. So what we're going to do now, we are going to take our paper. We have our mixture of colors, and you just lay the watercolor paper on top of the water. So, and then you're going to pull it up. And you see how this got saturated with the oil? So those spots were protected from the oil. So look at that. That is so cool. That is like such a weird, and see how like little bits here, and this will dry. So these parts will dry and look kind of like a watercolor painting, and then you have the marbling effect of the oil where it's stuck to it. So we're going to set this one aside to dry. And I kind of want to try it again. I happen to have the excess piece of watercolor paper because I wasn't sure how it was going to come out. So now we're just gonna go boop. So this one got some different patterns on it. There we go. And like that. They're not like intense paintings, and I think also depending on how you play around with it, depending on how much baby oil you use versus like ratios of the oil versus with the food coloring watercolor paint, or whether you used baby oil or vegetable oil. But this is kind of cool, and the thing is, this is something that could be used after it dries. You could make something with it, but this is kind of a cool like art, like it's like an arts and craft thing, but it also has like a bit of like a science experiment element to it. So that is pretty cool. So it's pretty simple, and it uses supplies that pretty much probably everybody's going to have on hand. So I hope that you enjoyed that, and I hope that it inspired you to, be creative and make your own craft. So, bye everyone.